Hello students, today we're going to discuss the forces and interactions lesson. As a summary, we define the force to be a mechanical action exerted by one body, which we call actor, on another body, which we call receiver. A force is represented by a force vector because it's characterized by its point of application, line of action, direction, which could be upward, downward, to the left, upward, to the left. It depends whether the line of action is vertical, horizontal, or oblique. And the magnitude, which represents the intensity of the force expressed in a Newton. Now, the types of forces are two: contact forces and acting at a distance. The contact forces, in which the actor and the receiver of the force are in contact, are the common ones. Of course, there are other ones. The common ones that you encounter in your school life is the tension, normal reaction of support, friction, and muscular force. The tension, which is the force exerted by an elastic body like a spring, rope, or a string. Normal reaction of support, which is exerted by any support on an object in contact with it. This force is always perpendicular to the support itself. The friction, which is exerted by a rough surface on an object dropped against it. And the muscular force exerted by muscles such as hands and legs. On the other hand, the forces acting at a distance are those in which the actor and the receiver are at a distance away from each other. The three forces acting at a distance are gravitational force, magnetic force, and electric force. The gravitational force is the force exerted by Earth. You used to see it in grade 8 and 9, or you used to define it in grade 8 and 9 to be the force exerted by Earth only. But actually this is not true, because not only Earth has gravity, all the planets and in the solar system has gravity, and also the sun has a gravity. So when we talk about a gravitational force, it could be this one exerted by the Earth, by the Moon, even by any other planet on an object on its surface, or nearly above it, or nearly at a certain distance away from it, but such that the gravity of this planet still affects that body. Okay, and the distance must not be that great one. It must be to a certain limit, a short one relatively. The magnetic force is the force exerted by a magnet on a metal or another magnet. And the electric force is exerted by one charged body or particle on another charged body or particle. These diagrams demonstrate the forces that I mentioned. In the first picture here, we have a muscular force. The man here is trying to push the table using his hands, so we consider the force exerted by the hand on the table to be a muscular force. And the second one here, also the man is trying to push a certain closet, and we are concerned here with the force exerted by the ground on the closet, which is the force of friction due to rubbing the closet against the floor. And as you can see here, the force of friction is opposite to the direction of motion of the closet. And the third picture here, a ball is being pulled by a certain wire here, or by a certain wire. This force is called the tension force. And in the fourth picture here, we have the normal reaction of support is being represented perpendicular to support. As you can see here, the normal reaction of support exerted by the inclined plane on the box on it is perpendicular to the box. Or another example here, a certain box is settled on another surface, and the surface is supporting it, and the normal reaction of support is represented perpendicular to this support. On the other hand, talking about the forces acting at a distance, which are the magnetic force, the electric force, and the gravitational force, we have we have two types of magnetic forces, which are forces of attraction or repulsion. If the two poles are opposite, then they attract. If they are similar, then they repel. And gravitational force here, showing an astronaut on the surface of Earth. He is subjected to a certain gravitational force, which is the weight, and also when being on the moon is subjected to gravitational force, but which is less intense, because the gravity is actually much less than that on the Earth. And finally, the electric force, showing here also a force